So this one was also a request and...
Or a former headline.
Yeah, former headline. So if you request one or you submit a headline that leads to a story, I will give you $25 of Jen's hard-earned money.
Don't worry, it's John's.
September 29th, 2020, a 15-year-old teenager, Eva, she wakes up. She is living in a quaint little town near Charleston known as Mount Pleasant. What?
Are you serious?
I told you this was in Mount Pleasant.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
You said something about Charleston. You said nothing about Mount Pleasant.
Eva wakes up and every morning for the last couple of months, and this was a Monday morning, for the past couple of months, she has waken up to a Bible verse sent to her by her doting father, Doug. So Monday morning, she's waking up for school. She looks at the phone like always. But on this particular day, there was no Bible quote. She wakes up. Eva sees that there's no text. She immediately sends her dad a message. Good morning. No reply. An hour passes by. She texts him again. Dad, where are you? Next, Dad, you're scaring me. Answer the phone. She begins to panic and she starts driving to her sister-in-law's house. And at that point, she Googled, quote, Florida car accident and her father's name. Now, this story is, we started in Mount Pleasant in Charleston, but her father is living in Florida at the time. So that's where we're going to go now. This is where the previous night, something went horribly wrong. That was the 27th of September, 2020. And when deputies arrived after a 911 call came in, they found Doug, the father of Eva, on the floor in his ex-wife's, separated wife's bedroom. He was bleeding from his leg and his arm and his chest. He has been shot twice.
He was bleeding from 3 places, though?
Yeah, so the bullet that went through his arm actually traveled through his chest as well.
Oh.
As you'll see, he wasn't front facing. He was turned a little to the side, which is super important in this case. He was turned a little bit to the side. The bullet went through his arm, then traveled into his chest cavity. When the EMTs arrived, he was still breathing, and he lived for about an hour after that, and he died in a nearby hospital. Eva wakes up a few hours later, no text from Daddy. Then she finds out. Okay, a little bit about the police investigation. Like, what happened here? Well, we know this was late at night, and there had been some arguing going on.
I will say that we have a request from Wolfie and also me to never say the word daddy again.
Daddy.
And he just said it.
Well, I'm so used to hearing that at night. So.
Ew, 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 ew. Ew.
I don't like that.
Never.
I don't like that. That's something I don't want to know.
Never. Ever. Ugh. No.
How can you say that?
I'm just kidding.
I think it's fucking weird. No.
And then weird. I'm like, we got to be quick. Mom's going to be home.
Stop it. That's not funny. Can you get on with the story, please?
All right.
He's just hoping somebody found that hilarious, and he's waiting to see somebody write it in the chat. He's like, please.
Where's Jacob at? All right, the shooting took place in Florida, specifically Manatee County. This was in the neighborhood of Lakewood Ranch. This was actually at the husband, Doug, his wife, or separated wife's mother's house. The mother did not like Doug at all. These are the events on the previous night. There's a lot of arguing in the house. You have a wife and a husband who are separated, but they're getting back together, and there's like marriage counseling, but she wants to leave them. All this drama. So the mother of the wife takes the youngest daughter for a walk because there's so much arguing in the house, and this relationship is extremely toxic.
Okay.
So she just wants to get the young daughter out of the home. The daughter at the time is 2 years old, around that. Is, a young daughter. Around that time, when she's walking with the young daughter, a neighbor hears screaming from that house, and that neighbor calls 911. When that neighbor is still on the phone, that woman who was in the house arguing runs over and is frantically knocking on that neighbor's door with a .45 caliber pistol in her hand.
Oh boy. She's
saying that she shot her husband in self-defense. Now, this all happened while while mom takes granddaughter on a walk. Like, this happened quickly. Yeah, they were arguing, but it wasn't violent. It wasn't beating each other. So within a span of 10 minutes or less, you now have someone, the husband, dying in the bedroom, blood everywhere, with two bullets fired at him. Both hit, one in the leg, one in the arm, that traveled to the chest cavity. He is bleeding to death internally. Like, this happened real quick. Then you have the woman, who is young, run to the neighbor's house, beating on the door, saying she's been abused and she had to defend herself. That is where we're at. Now, this happened in 2020, okay? When the couple, as you're about to hear, Ashley and Doug, that's the couple's names. Doug is on the floor. Ashley has the .45 caliber. Okay. When deputies arrived, they found Doug on the floor of Ashley's bedroom. Doug was bleeding from his leg, arm, and chest, and EMTs assisted him, noticed that he'd been shot twice and that the bullet went through his chest cavity. He was still breathing but died an hour later. Okay. Detectives come into the home, notice right away that Doug had no guns or weapons besides the one that his estranged wife, Ashley, was carrying. The one that she shot him with. He had no other firearms or anything. They found a stray bullet on the floor and two more bullets lodged in the walls. Ashley, who has been claiming it was self-defense, domestic violence, she had to protect herself, had a, quote, old and very minor, end quote, scratch on her body. So she did have a scratch. It was, quote, old and very minor, but it was there. Yeah. She didn't have black eyes. She didn't have scrapes. She wasn't bleeding.
So how was it self-defense is what we're going with this, right?
I don't know. Forensics later determined that, quote, it does not appear that he was facing Ashley when she began shooting, end quote. Okay. Now, that was a lot. Can you read? Now, I'm pulling a lot of this research from Vanity Fair. Can you read the first one there?
From Vanity Fair, on Monday morning back in Charleston, Eva woke up, checked her phone, and saw no Bible verse. Nothing. She sent her dad a good morning text, but he didn't reply. An hour passed. She sent him a text again. She started to panic. Dad, where are you? She wrote. Dad, you're scaring me. Answer the phone. She drove to her sister-in-law's and Googled Florida car accident, Benefield.
All right. Have you guys heard of this one before? Or you guys know this case? This is a headlines case, so we have talked about this on headlines.
I think we didn't talk about it a lot because you're like, I'm going to drop this in the case requests.
Yeah. This is a good one. Honestly, I don't even remember when this happened, which is crazy because half the story takes place here in Charleston. When I say Mount Pleasant, Charleston's the county. Mount Pleasant's just a little town. So we're talking about Ashley and Doug Benefield. And this is their story. It's known as the Black Swan Murder Case, and that's what it is referred to in the media. So Ashley Benefield, let's start with her. Okay, this is known as the Black Swan Murder, so I'm going to show you her first off. So this is her right here. Can you describe her?
Brunette.
Dark
Republican.
I don't know, maybe
long
late
brown
30s,
hair, slender.
40s.
Yeah, I'll say 40s.
She's 40? Oh, she would slap the shit out of you if she heard you say that.
Okay, how old is she?
I can't tell. My picture's blurry.
Well, all right.
How old is she?
30s? I don't know.
Let me show you.
Sorry, maybe it's just the fact that she's next to Donald Trump who would make anyone look old.
Let me show you her.
It's just a fact.
Let me show you a better picture of her, I guess. Maybe one in a swimsuit or something. She was a swimsuit model. I don't know.
I thought you would have been a ballerina.
She's both.
What?
She's both?
Yeah. So this is her right here.
That doesn't make me do anything for me for age-wise. Oh, well, I don't know.
Okay, she looks like she's in her 20s in that picture.
Yeah.
But when was that picture taken?
Yeah.
Like, I don't see anyone going to the beach in a leotard like that nowadays.
I actually learned quite a bit about ballet in this story here.
Good for you.
Ballet is a beautiful art.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I think it's just that Donald Trump may have aged her in that photo.
You're sounding just like Doug. That's what Doug said.
Don't be mean about him.
I'm just saying. All right. You know what? This couple deserved each other here.
Oh,
all right.
boy.
We're going to get into this.
Her and Trump or her and Doug?
Her and her husband.
All right.
Maybe also Trump.
Tell me, why do you think she's posing with Trump? How did that happen?
Oh, is that actually
at Wax
Trump?
Museum?
What do you mean is actually Trump? Hell
It's
yeah,
a
it's
cardboard cutout. I don't know.
It could be like at the wax museum, but that actually
It
looks
looks
like
like
a
it was
pretty
a
good.
cardboard cutout to me.
Let me see if I can find a better picture then.
It's actually him?
Yeah, it's
Not a
actually
cardboard
him.
Well,
cutout.
he
Oh,
has
okay.
come to the area for a lot of rallies, and he lives in Florida.
Yeah, this is him. I mean, the picture's kind of blurry, but wait. Yeah, that's him. I'm going to get into
I just
it.
assumed it was cardboard cutout Donald.
In the photo when she's with Trump, she was still young. She's still young today, but she was 24 then. She was a She was a campaign office manager for Donald Trump. 2016, she was getting $3,000 per month plus expenses, and she was on the Trump payroll in Florida.
That's more than I make as a teacher.
Maybe you should get into politics.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't be a teacher. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm not a teacher. I'm a
me.
counselor, so I guess that's my own fault for saying that.
She traveled to different states to, quote, warm up the crowds at rallies and heat street, end quote. I don't really know what that means. During these rallies, this was in the first inauguration of Trump, his first campaign. Trump would introduce her as the, quote, retired ballerina, and she was there to pump up the crowds. I mean, she's hot.
What is she doing to pump up the crowds? Is she like doing a little ballerina
Well, she's
dance?
a model, a swimsuit model. She's a ballerina.
So she's walking around in a swimsuit to pump up
I
the
don't
crowd?
know.
Doing
okay,
pliés in a
shit.
swimsuit.
Yeah, I thought like that's literally what I have in my mind right now.
An arabesque.
Yeah, plie. Like what the fuck is going on stage at Donald Trump's rallies? Nobody else wants to endorse him.
Remember that group at those kids that were singing that were dressed up in all the cowboy hats and the red, white, and blue during his first run?
No.
You don't remember that?
But I can't help but think of like the guys that stormed the Capitol in their crazy outfits.
All right, so
That was quite different.
Yeah.
getting the Trump thing out the way real quick. She's always admired Trump ever since he started running, right? But she always looked up to Trump, and Trump actually offered her a job on the spot. She recommended what tie he could wear or should wear, which I guess is just the red one he always wears.
The power tie.
And quote, he said, I look good in his plane. He called me bombshell. He called me his little girl and his baby. He said he wanted a big fat kiss and promised me a job at the White House.
Oh yeah? What kind of job?
Under the
I don't
desk.
like any of that.
Oh my god, that is so freaking
all right.
ew,
But
cringy.
we're getting off the Trump thing because that's not really, I mean, it's coming up now that, she was a campaign manager. But, and you could actually say, will Trump pardon her? That's what I was thinking. Like, let's say she gets in prison. Could Trump pardon her?
He can.
He can. But when he was asked and shown a photo of Ashley Benefield, he says, quote, I have no idea who this person is.
Which you don't know if he's telling the truth or fucking lying.
No, he's definitely lying. But it's kind of funny.
I don't know. There's probably a lot of ladies that he's like, oh, baby, I'd like to give you a big fat kiss to. So he probably, could he not remember her? It's plausible.
But this isn't about Trump. This is about the retired ballerina known as Ashley Benefield. And she's a swimsuit model and an ex-ballerina. I learned a lot about what a ballerina is. This is her right here. Can you tell me how she looks here?
Wow.
Or describe her.
She's not in a ballet in this photo.
Oh, she's wearing a
swimsuit
triangle
model.
bathing suit. Remember, those were super popular a few years ago.
Oh, yeah, they were. So she's wearing a strapless bikini in a pool. Is she advertising a diamond necklace?
I don't know.
know.
Model.
It looks like an ad. It does not look like a photo that
It looks like a jewelry ad.
It's the cover shoot for Pump magazine. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of guys are
the
pumping it.
weightlifting one.
They're pumping it to that picture. I'll tell you that right now. Christ.
Nasty.
All right. So her model name is Christina Alicia. She's an ex-ballerina. Now, she's young. She's only 24 when this story takes place. But she started the A&B in Charleston, South Carolina. Now, this was only a few years ago, 2017. The American National Ballet in Charleston, South Carolina. This is where this, kind of pulls us in because we live here. And this is their website. Or their Facebook here, American National Ballet for Charleston, South Carolina. Now, immediately, I'm going to go into this ballet thing because this thing is a scam, as you're going to see. But
the ballet is a scam?
Sort of. Okay.
Was it a pyramid scheme?
Huh?
Like a pyramid scheme for ballerinas?
This is what she had posted in the American National Ballet. A note from the founder. This is from Ashley Benefield right here. I want to start by saying that I publicly disavow my support for the American National Ballet and its leadership. All right. So how did this 24-year-old Trump campaign manager, office manager, become this CEO of this American National Ballet in Charleston? Well, she, since the age of 8, wanted nothing more to do than to dance ballet. And apparently you can make money at it, which is crazy. But she had danced for the Ballet Theater in Maryland, the Baltimore Ballet, Sarasota Ballet, Ballet Pensacola, the Brandon Ballet, and the Wilmington Ballet Company. So she has danced ballet for her whole life. That's all she knows. Mm-hmm. At the end of 2014 and 2015, after dancing professionally for 6 years, she says, I, Ashley, announce my official retirement from the dance world so I can pursue a full-time career in modeling. That's what she wrote on her Facebook page. Now, she
makes a lot of announcements.
What? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, what if all of my social media posts were like that, like formal announcements?
Are you starting?
Formal announcement. I had
Jen Collins
pizza
have decided that I'm having spaghetti for dinner. I had soup tonight, but I get the idea. Maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll try it. And only the people that listen to the podcast will understand. Everyone else will unfriend me.
As I said earlier, Ashley and Doug Benefield are made for each other. I was going to show you their Facebook photo, but it's not logging in on here, so I'm just going to look it up here. And you can see that they are definitely made for each other. This is him, Doug Benefield. This is the victim here who we're seeing. So you see, this is March 26, 2020 was his last post. So that was right before he was killed by his wife. And that's them right there. So he is a little bit older than her.
Well, he must if he's got a daughter that's a teenager.
Yeah. So Ashley at 24 was the stepmother of this 15-year-old daughter.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah. He is about 30 years her senior, which is kind of crazy,
I mean, he's a pretty good-looking guy.
He looks just like the guy in Black Swan.
I don't remember what that guy looked like, but yeah, we'll go with it.
Just like him.
All right.
The French dude.
They meet at a Palm Beach home of Ben Carson, which apparently is some presidential guy. I don't know.
Yeah. I remember Ben Carson.
He was a doctor.
Yeah.
Okay. So they meet at his Palm Beach home. This is in the summer of 2016. She had already been divorced once.
At 24?
Yeah, at 24.
Wow.
So she divorced 2 years before. So that's not a good sign.
Red flag.
Doug at the time was 54, divorced once and widowed once, but he was charismatic and handsome. Can you read from the Vanity Fair on September 1st?
6 days after they met, they exchanged I love yous over text. By the time Doug landed, they decided to marry. Doug, according to a friend, would not have sex with Ashley before the wedding night. They told almost no one of their plans, not even Doug's teenage daughter.
I mean, if you're going to be celibate, it's like one thing to be celibate, but you're getting married within 6 days of meeting each other. I think you can wait a week to have sex with It's like, no, I want to wait till we're married. So another 4 days. Okay. It's crazy. At 24.
And it's like they had both been in prior relationships. So it's like really wasn't of that much significance to them, clearly.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
At 24, Ashley was already married and divorced. She dropped out of high school because she was a ballet prodigy at the age of 8. She dropped out of high school to pursue ballet full time. And then she retired at 24. Here's what really happened. She's a very talented balletist or ballerina.
Uh-huh.
Do the guys, are they called ballerinos or ballerine bros? Because there are guys.
I like the ballerine bros, but I don't know. If I actually don't. I think I just call them dancers.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's a ballet dancer.
Here's what really happened. Ashley, who dropped out of high school, did work for these ballet companies, but she got shifted around because she found herself in a pool of other extremely dedicated people. And how many ballet positions are there, really? Not very many.
Right.
I guess it's a cutthroat thing, yeah.
That's very interesting, too. Like, if she was such a prodigy to the point where she dropped out of high school, like, I wonder what her grades were like, because not saying that it's easy to get into Juilliard because it's not, or even like
to do what?
To like go to a dance school or
to
something.
go to a school for dance and pursue it that way.
Oh, why would you?
Why would you drop out of high school like to do that?
Well, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Because what happens if you get seriously injured? Not wishing that on anyone, but you can never dance again, and you don't even have a high school diploma. But I mean, there she was on Trump's campaign manager.
I would have
so
stuck with the Trump thing, man. I tell you, the Trump. I mean, I would have. We could be talking about her for different reasons right now. You know?
Yes.
I mean, Monica. How much does Monica Lewinsky? Like, how much is she worth? Let's figure that out. And honestly, if this was happening now for Ashley instead of when she dropped out 2014 or whatever, like, I mean, OnlyFans is she could pursue that easily, and make a killing. I know.
Too late.
How much is Monica Lewinsky worth?
Thank you for the safety dance reference, Brandon.
What? She's worth $1.5 million? Oh man, I'd get under that desk. Holy shit, $1.5 million?
That's nothing. You kidding me? If she were to have $1.5 million in assets, that's it? Nah.
Jen, how does that make you feel when Nicole says $1.5 million is nothing?
I'm sorry. But inflation is real.
That's accurate. Like if you're looking at 1998 Monica Lewinsky and you see $1.5 million, that's one thing. But it's 2024 where you have to spend at least like $500,000 to own a house.
All she did was suck off the president. She didn't do anything else, and she's worth $1.5 million from doing that. What are you talking about?
It's not that impressive.
I know it's not supposed to be. All she did was give a blowjob, and she's worth that's $1.5 million blowjob right there.
No, that's like her. That would mean her assets as well. So like her home value.
It says her net worth.
Yes, that includes her assets, which
She's
would be her
American
home.
Author, public speaker, and anti-bullying activist.
Yeah, I'm telling you. That's not that great.
I mean, it's certainly $1.5 million more than I have for my net worth. I think that if you pulled up my net worth, it'd be negative.
She still looks good.
Anyway.
I think she looks better now than she did, when she was an intern for her country. Okay. Yeah. So Ashley is very immature. And here's what I found out with Doug. So Doug has, he's a widow. He's got one divorce. He is 54. He's already hit that midlife crisis. He is a Navy veteran and a software engineer and entrepreneur. He's actually a venture capitalist. He does got a lot of money.
He's probably got a lot more net worth than Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe like the same. Anyway, he's got a nice house in Mount Pleasant. He buys Ashley a nice house in Mount Pleasant, and he starts these companies as a venture capitalist, and he's sort of well known. In fact, when he died here in Charleston, there was a wake, and I think it was like about 100 people. His friends showed up, ex-business partners and stuff at Delaney's. You know that pub downtown, Delaney's?
Oh, no. You mean Dunleavy's?
Dunleavy's.
On Sullivan's.
Sullivan's?
Oh, Sullivan's. Yeah, his ashes were spread over Sullivan.
Oh,
wow. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, so the reason I'm saying this because we're all familiar here with what that is. Like us three, we know where that is. That's why it's kind of interesting to us. Anyway, so he is this venture capitalist. He makes good money. He's looking for an investment, but his friends say he's
looking for an investment, as in. Like a fixer-upper who happens to be 24 years old.
There you go. So his friends say his friends come out and say that he, quote, needed someone to rescue, which is this girl, right? High school dropout, retired ballerina at 24, Trump office manager. I mean, that sounds impressive, but what is it all? It's
no, it doesn't actually. But I'm sorry. If I don't find $1.5 million net worth impressive, I certainly don't find that impressive.
I mean,
it takes a lot to impress me.
She's a nice Southern girl,
No, she's not. Oh. She's a bad person.
No, I don't know. We'll get to that. I know what I want more than anything. This is what she's writing in her diary.
Because she has a fucking diary?
Yeah. She has a diary.
All right.
Holy shit. She has a diary.
Did she write like Mrs. Ashley Benefield on it?
This is right after her divorce. I know what I want more than anything. I want to be loved. I want to be a wife and a mother. God, please bring me to that special man you have chosen for me.
I think he already brought, her one. Didn't work out. So
Doug, they meet at Ben Carson's house, and they immediately, 6 days later, they're engaged, right? He also said that he loved that she was a ballet girl, and he himself loved going to ballets. Him saying that surprised all of his friends because,
he's never been to a fucking ballet his entire life, I guess.
He's a neurosurgeon. You can like ballets and do neurosurgery.
I didn't say he was a neurosurgeon.
That's Ben Carson was the neurosurgeon.
I didn't say he was a neurosurgeon.
He's the software engineer.
Oh, I thought you said they were at Ben Carson's house.
Yes. No, Doug is the one saying, "Oh my God, I love ballet."
I thought you were saying Ben Carson said he loved the ballet. No, the dead guy,
Doug. He says that I love ballet. If I ever say that, I'm mistaking that word for buffet. I can promise you.
Man, I love ballet. I just went to Golden Corral the other day.
Oh my gosh.
He loves ballet. His friends are like, he doesn't care about ballet, but whatever. He's trying to rescue this girl. So
we're trying to rescue another puppy. Trying to rescue this lady.
Things move rather quickly. She moves into his house in Mount Pleasant. She meets his 15-year-old daughter, Eva, now her stepdaughter, 9 years older than,
Could be your big sister. That's fucked up.
Ashley. And dude, this is also a journal case, right? This is the first time we see a 24-year-old writing in a diary that gets used in court. All right, and I'll show you some of the diary images or the diary writings. I'll show you the diary writings, but
I shouldn't make fun of it. It's good to, journaling is supposed to be therapeutic. It's supposed to be healthy for you. It's an outlet.
Ashley.
I have journals.
Well, there you go.
So she moves into the home.
I just picture the whole Dear Diary with like a big fluffy pen with a little...
So think about this.
Or my dinosaur diary.
Yes.
Think about this for a second. You just met this girl 6 days ago. You have a daughter, a 15-year-old daughter. And now, oh, hey, baby. Hey, Eva, can I talk? This is your new stepmom. She's going to live here in the house. I just met her. We're going to get married. Like that. All right, come on. Right? They're both kind of crazy.
I feel like that would have been an explosive conversation.
That's fucking terrible. That is not going to end well. So Ashley starts getting scared that Eva doesn't like her and that Doug would pick Eva over her. This is in her journal, her diary. It says, quote, "I just want him to pick me." That's what she was telling a friend as well. And her diary, Ashley had found Eva's diary, the 15-year-old, read it and learned that Eva, in fact, hated her. But Doug and Ashley were in love. In January 2017, they started writing together a 5-year Q&A a day journal, the notes of Doug and Ashley 2017 through 2021, which, he never made it that far. Both responded to prompts like, "If you could go back in time and change something, what would it be?" Doug says, "Be with Ashley my whole life." And then Ashley says, "I love him." And "What's your mission?" Ashley says, "Make a happy home for my family," drawing a heart. And Doug says, "Become Christ-like." What do you feel? I'm reading the journal if you don't know. "What do you feel closest to?" Doug says, "Ashley is a part of me." Ashley says, "Doug, I never want to be without him." Shortly after, within the year, things started getting really, really tense. And this is where we see text messages coming in. Now, these text messages are extremely important because they're going to help us, as in men, not vilify this woman, right? Because we want to believe it was self-defense. So these text messages do help. He is a Navy veteran, 54 years old, and he's got a temper problem. So she's going to be claiming self-defense. So this is from Ashley and Doug. "Who got me so mad, Ashley? I told her about the wall. I told her about gun. I told her we argued. Common denominator is you until you have never punched a dog or shot a gun." So this guy, Doug, has shot a gun, his revolver, into the wall because he was mad, and he even punched the family dog. So you told her then, DSS, you punched the dog? "I punched the dog because you got me so mad and you wouldn't stop about Eva Eva. Always Eva. Every argument, Eva. You punched the dog because of Eva. Sounds like you are unstable. See, this is toxic right here.
Oh, yeah.
They're like feeding off each other. Sounds like you are unstable. I mean, no guy's going to like to hear that shit, right?
No, but he also may be.
Exactly. But it's an extremely toxic situation. You can tell like really quickly it is. Then another one says, I just lost it. This is what he says. I found my breaking point and you took it out on a dog. I mean, she sounded like a teenager. Fine. You can remind me. Ashley, I was stupid. I was angry. I was frustrated. I was lost. I needed help. I got help. And you threw a 13-year-old cat? How many times do you want me to say I failed? That all shows that I'm yada, yada, yada. I mean, it's just crazy shit, right? This is a fucking 54-year-old man who cannot get his shit together in a very toxic relationship. I mean, this is showing that he's got anger problems.
I mean, animal abuse is not okay. So I think that definitely shows a different side of him.
Now, the whole case here is, did she act in self-defense? The American National Ballet started as a vision that was heralded by a lot of newspapers, not only like the Post and Courier here in Charleston, but also big newspapers, because it was going to be the first ballet company that is diversified. And apparently this is a big thing. Like with ballet, you have to be a certain height, you have to have a certain look. Like there's a balletist that's famous now because she joined this company. She's really good, but she's too tall. She's 5'10", right? Mm-hmm. Well, that's pretty tall.
I think the perfect ballerina is like 5'8".
Yeah, or something like that. But so this company, which started here in Charleston with Doug's money, obviously, American National Ballet, would be the first ballet company in the nation or the world that not only did not care about race, but actively race and body type, but actively diversified on purpose. So it was
the world's first inclusive ballet company.
But I like the way you put it.
Yeah, so you don't see a lot of black ballerinas, right? But you do in this company type of thing. But you see it says like, we embrace diversity.
Nice.
Type of thing. They got people from all over the world, and they got ballerinas from all over the world, including like Estonia. Wow. And yeah, I mean, it sounds really good.
I feel like there's a catch.
Well, there is a catch. they're fucking toxic, and they're both running this company.
Yeah.
That's the catch. The American Ballet Company, quote, we can remember all the life-changing moments we were first inspired, and our goal at A&B is to be that inspiration that creates a culture change in our country. That's what Ashley Benefield said. They started with close to 50 dancers, big names like Rasta Thomas and Sarah Michelle Murawski. They diversified bodies and races, so not all skinny, not all white, not all black, They did not want cookie cutter dancers, and they wanted to be diversified. The annual budget was $2.5 million. This was in Charleston, funded by this venture capitalist, Doug, who just married Ashley. Now, if they would have been happy together, this company would have still been going on. There's no doubt about that. However, they're in this toxic relationship, always splitting up and moving, and they're both trying to manage this company. So what they did was they got 47 dancers, some from not even this country, overseas, Germany, Argentina, Estonia. They would promise these dancers U.S. visas. They moved them into an apartment here in Charleston. And that's when these ballerinas who got here started noticing that things were not above board. There was no studio as promised. They had to sign a lease for this apartment, and they were promised to get paid. They were not getting paid, type of thing. And you brought immigrants over promising a visa, and now they're basically stuck in freaking America, because number one, they're ballerinas. Like, they're not going to be able to get a job anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm. The dancers had been urged to sign year-long leases at a luxury apartment complex that boasted flat-screen TVs and free tanning beds. The best part, you can see the main studios from the apartment, wrote A&B administrator. Not even a 2-minute walk, but wait, there's more. The email continued in the manic tone of a telemarketer. We are building a rehearsal studio space on the ground level of the apartments.
So there are plenty of websites that touted this company as changing the face of ballet. These grandiose plans that being the top dance studio. Doug actually said he was Uberizing ballet, like Uber.
What? How can you Uber ballet?
So Doug was was just putting money in this, and he knows nothing about it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. 3 days later, half the dancers, after they got here to Charleston, they were made to sign these leases. 3 days later, there was a change of vision, and half the dancers were fired. So they came from all over the country, even different parts of the world. They're fired. They're in a lease in an apartment they can't afford. They have no job. They're ballerinas. There is no company type of thing, right? And then Ashley Benefield, who's the CEO, like they were here a month and they still hadn't met Ashley. She didn't even show up because she was fighting with Doug the whole time, right?
Got it.
And then she writes this thing on Facebook that says she publicly disavows support for the American National Ballet. She's the motherfucking founder of it. Exactly,
what?
Right? Yeah, she writes this post that says, I disavow my support for American National Ballet. So think about that, and that's on their public Facebook. So think about these ballerinas who just came from all over the world and now are stuck in Charleston, all these hopes and dreams. Like, those are the real victims in this story.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, and now the founder and CEO, who hasn't even showed her face, says, I disavow my support. Okay. These ballerinas are now in Charleston. They had signed these high-price leases with no opportunities of employment. Many of them had turned down big positions with other ballet companies for this big American ballet dream, right?
Meanwhile, Doug Benefield disappeared just like his wife. I had absolutely no returned calls, no help, no nothing, and I was stuck here in Charleston, said choreographer Andre Proya. I have never seen so many lies, so many hurt people for something that's supposed to be celebrating diversity.
So it seemed like just a scam. And it was definitely rushed, but the couple was trying to kill each other the whole time. So they laid off all these dancers and they basically just left them out to dry. So anyway, let's talk about the self-defense thing, because we talked about she shot Doug and she's claiming self-defense. There are journal entries that she had that one, in fact, is a letter she wrote Doug right before this happened. She was going to leave this letter, get her stuff and leave this letter. It's like a 4-page letter. And it basically says in it that he's got anger problems and, she's scared for her life and stuff like that. So that helps her case. All right. On September 18th, she drove, the days before the shooting, she drove the 500 miles to Charleston to get her belongings, leave the letter, and then leave. However, Doug was there, and then they kind of like rekindled for 2 days, and then he's dead, right? Let's talk about one more thing. Somewhere in all this fighting and arguing, Ashley gets pregnant and delivers his baby. So there's another dynamic in this thing. As she's pregnant, she starts having these horrible pains in her stomach, horrible pains in her chest. She said it felt like her entire body was going to explode.
I got my results back and I was blown away, she said. The lab said it had detected dangerous levels of aluminum, cobalt, zinc, tin, and barium in her body. Their explanation was shocking. Ashley had been deliberately and systematically exposed to these toxins by an individual who may be identified as the poisoner, according to the lab.
So apparently, and this is not 100% sure who did it, but obviously Doug would make her sweet tea every morning, and that's when she started getting sick. So apparently Doug was trying to poison her, either to keep her from leaving him or to kill the baby that was growing inside of her or something. Looking back, Doug's own mother, 56-year-old Renee, was in the best shape of her life, died unexpectedly at his house after they got in arguments. This was here in Mount Pleasant. She was fit and healthy. Now, Ashley Benefield thinks that Doug actually poisoned his own mother as well.
Wow.
And his first wife, because, he's a widow. Mount Pleasant police searched her cell phone and found some damning evidence that says, can you read the next one?
The decedent stated to her husband how he kicked her over New Year's Eve during their honeymoon. They summarized in an investigation report and also described Mr. Benefield putting a gun to his head in the past. In the year before her death, Renee had been sick. Her husband told the detectives that she had fainted twice in the past year. The coroner concluded that she died of a heart condition.
All right, so that's where we're at now. Going back to
that's a twist.
Yeah, exactly. if she was poisoned, that's a big, that's a big step, right? I mean, she's trying to claim self-defense. After the birth of her daughter, there was a heated custody battle. They got back together in November 2018. They got marriage counseling. They split up again, and then they got back together, and then 3 days later, he's shot and killed, right? The trial just happened, and she was found guilty of manslaughter. She is not sentenced yet, but she could get 30 years in prison. What it boils down to is where he was shot at. He was shot in the arm by her. He was unarmed, and it seemed like he was turning away or running away, getting away from the situation because he wasn't shot front facing. Shot in the arm. He was turned to the side, the right side, and the bullet went through his arm and then to his chest cavity. So he wasn't coming at her like she says. She has no scratches, no marks, nothing like that.
I wonder if there was something in the vicinity he was trying to grab.
No, there was nothing. There was no other weapons in the home.
I mean, the fact that he may have been poisoning her, though, is like, it's kind of one of those, if that's what was going on, can you really blame, like, doesn't it still count as self-defense? We've talked about cases kind of like that.
Well, here's, can I give you my personal opinion about Ashley Benefield, why she was found guilty? Now, she's only found guilty of manslaughter, so I don't even think she'll get 5 years, honestly. She'll probably get 3 years. I think that she is found guilty because, and I'm trying to be funny, but at the same time, I'm being serious. She has this resting bitch face or whatever. Yeah, doesn't she? Does she not? Like, this is her in the courtroom. Does she not look like a bitch? I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm she looks like it, right?
Yeah.
I think her look did it for her, I really do. That's my personal opinion. Like, that's her mugshot, She just, maybe that's not a popular opinion, but, that's my opinion. But she's found guilty of manslaughter, so it's probably not going to be, I don't think she's going to get a lot of time.
We will have to follow it, that's for sure.
Well, so her sentencing's coming up, but it could be 30 years.
I doubt that.
The whole relationship, I didn't go into a lot of stuff. I went too far into the ballerina bullshit, but it was really toxic, back and forth. She does have evidence, and I'll put it on the website, all the journals, that he was not necessarily abusing her, but he would have anger problems. He would punch the wall, punch the dog, shoot, he would harass her, all this stuff. Like, there's documented evidence of that and him admitting to it, stuff like that. Yeah. He knows better, man. Like, who do you think you are, DiCaprio? And DiCaprio has it right. He gets rid of him at 25, hey, I'm done with you, because that's when they can go crazy and start doing this shit. Well,
she was 24.
Like, he has it right. Like, he knows the formula. All right, this guy obviously didn't, but that's the black.
This is why John wants to rescue a new dog every 4 years, because they turn what age in human years?
I honestly think that those two deserve each other. They're just fucking Sid and Nancy, toxic as fuck. Immature girl, drops out of high school, dreams of being a ballerina. All right, I'm just gonna be honest. If you're dreaming of being a ballerina, what the fuck? You're really gonna like rest your whole life and money on that shit?
What's the difference of dreaming to do that versus dreaming to be a professional athlete? Like, dreams are valid. There are definitely roads to getting there that are probably
but you also got to make
more
money.
Logical than others, but.
Everyone. Joe's right. Everyone has like a different dream. It's hard to beat those odds for sure.
Wolfie says
it's difficult, but
Wolfie says, "Joke's on you, John. I went crazy at 16." Women are born fucking crazy. I'm pretty sure.
You want to see crazy?
See, there we go.
Do you want to see crazy?
If I push you to a limit, I know you can get crazy.
But see, I think that the joke's on you is because
I've never seen you get crazy. When have I seen you get crazy?
You've seen me get really fucking pissed before.
I win. You get pissed because something I do.
You're doing this on purpose because then her thinking about it is going to make her mad. Yeah. And it's going to make her pissed. Yeah. Don't do this.
That's called being crazy. That doesn't make any sense.
No, it's not. It's not being crazy. It's called having emotions. And yes, we have emotions.
Yeah, I'm a fucking psychopath.
We know. Believe me.
Whatever. I think she should get out of prison.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
I don't think she did anything wrong. Dude, she was
Because she's a lady.
She was getting poisoned.
Well, we don't know that for a fact.
What if she was poisoning herself?
I kind of thought that too,
She was not poisoning herself. Why would you poison yourself?
Because she was setting up her husband's murder, or maybe she didn't want to keep the baby, and maybe because
she went to Florida to get her stuff and leave this 4-page note.
I mean, I don't think she will get a lot of time. I think the hard part is like it seemed like the event in particular was maybe not provoked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Martin says to switch topics. I agree.
Because too many crazy women around here.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, dude, that was too much for me, man. I mean, I did quite a bit of research, and I still don't know what the fuck I just read. That was a lot of like going back and forth. Maybe I didn't structure that well, but I do want to do more stories this week. So,
well, good job, Lauren, for picking another good one. Headline turned story.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like super popular, but there's no other news about it going on. It just kind of went blank after the trial ended. So, I mean...
It'll be silent until the sentencing, I'm sure.
Yeah, no shit. But I will say Ashley Benefield has a huge support network. There were people protesting at the courthouse when the trial was going on. We support Ashley, all this stuff. Like a huge network.
Is she being tried here in Charleston, or is it in Florida?
No, it's Florida. The murder happened in Florida.
Yeah.
The only thing that happened here in Charleston was this failed, defunct ballet company that never even got off the ground, you know?
Yeah.
You are on a roll. Good job.
Anyway, yeah, I didn't know about ballerinas were so, like, in demand, I guess. I guess they're not.
I don't think.
The Trump thing was interesting, too, but apparently he doesn't know who that is.
Maybe he doesn't. He's old too.
I don't know. Anyway, and that's all I got. So until the next time, good night, you lovely, lovely people.
Kind of run this shit.